Hello there, what's the story, what's the crack, how y'all keeping? This is the PandaPuncher, yes, PandaPuncher, and welcome to some Dwarf Fortress. I have been dying to play this game for a long time now because it is one of my favourite games, and it has been a while. And on top of that, I haven't had a chance to play any of the countless updates that have been since, since the last time I played it. Now, for those who may join and not know what Dwarf Fortress is, it is essentially the granddaddy of what I would just call this whole colony sort of management games. Take the basic colony management principle, you see it in the likes of RimWorld and other games of that like. You start off with 7 dwarves, you dig, you mine, you cut down trees, you craft, you build up resources, mine, get more people to join your colony and just continue to grow and fight off challenges that come your way. Those challenges could be anything from invading armies to undead ducks to pandas to everything you can think of. So I'm not going to dilly-dally around for too long here. I'm going to get started. And first things first, we sort of have to take a look at what is around us. So I'm going to zoom out a wee bit here. So the world I generated was sort of medium history, medium size, and sort of just your basic starting criteria. Didn't really amend much, but we do have a frozen river at the minute. All this grey stuff is grass, trust me. It's covered in snow or something at the minute. I'm pretty sure if we snow covered chalk, snow covered not grass, etc, etc. So that'll all melt and it'll be nice and green in no time. And how high does this mountain on the right hand side go? It's actually quite decent. And all these brown things that you can see here, they're trees. You'll get the speed, don't worry. So I'm going to, for the sake of the fact that I'm streaming this, and eventually this will also go on YouTube, I am going to zoom in a little bit. So now we have to decide where it is we dig down. To be honest, I kind of like the little area that we've been given here where our caravan has embarked at. And for those who enjoy the whole story and random generation that Dwarf Fortress gives, the fort is called, in the Dwarven tongue, Rigothastod. Or for those who speak English, the randomly generated name was Craftedgulfs, which is probably what I'll title the series on YouTube. So I forget what I'm doing. Right. Need to dig down. So I'm thinking we'll build a wall as some sort of basic initial defense along here, and then we'll probably have to do something along the lines of dealing with enemies that could potentially come from above, so we'll probably have to riff off things at certain points. But I'm not going to dig in. Actually, would it be worthwhile digging in? Maybe. But first off, we are going to get rid of some of these ramps out here. So it's all keyboard bindings. There is mouse support for this game, but that's not how it should be played. The other thing is, this is a tile set. It's the Phoebus tile set. I ran a poll on Twitter earlier today to help choose the tile set that I was going to play with tonight, and it was a tie between Phoebus and Space Fox. Space Fox is a wee bit childish and cartoony for me, so I just went with the good old classic Phoebus. So what I did just there was marked all the triangle-shaped squares to be mined out, which essentially the triangles mark ramps that people can get up to this level, etc, etc. That'll work. Now I'm going to mark some of these trees to be cut down, including this one down here. Again, if you haven't played Dwarf Fortress before, this might be a tad confusing. Not gonna lie. So, we've done that initial stuff. I want to then earmark some. I will probably come in here. Whoops. There, and see if we can get away with having some farms in this area. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. Let's unpause and let our guys get to work. what we actually do need to do is set up a pasture. So we need to designate an area for that, and I'm not really too concerned about it. I'm just going to grab this massive area. Let's get all the animals that need penned. So some animals can freely roam, cats, dogs, la-di-da. Things like cows, horses, your traditional field animals, I suppose, need put in an area where there's grass, grazing, they need fed, water, la-di-da. So that'll take care of that, and you'll see a few dwarves now dragging some of the animals that I just earmarked over to here. It's beautiful, it just works. So now digging into the mountain, and it seems like we do have a decent bit of sand or clay or whatever that material is. Sand. So dwarves need two things to survive. We really only need one thing, and that is beer. And outside of that, nothing really matters. So if I start 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like everything being symmetrical. I can't deal with non-symmetrical shit. Not in a game like this. So these are going to be our little 5x5 farms. That is a corridor. It'll all make sense. Trust me. If I actually undo that. That was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 3, 4, 5. 4 is probably more than enough, which will grow our basic foodstuffs and the ingredients. How do you recover from that mistake? That one's going to irritate me for a while. So they've accidentally dug through there. So I want to convert that into a makeshift near the surface stockpile room and make the farms up here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's going to be a lot of me just muttering and counting. And with weird looks of concentration on my face. Very different flow from what I was streaming yesterday, which was Hearts of Iron 4, which was a hell of a lot of fun. But anyway, we can resume that now. Oh, that really annoys me. That was irritating. So we finally hit some rock at this end. What I'm actually going to do is... No, not I. It's been that long since I have played this. I forget all of my key bindings. So we're going to... again, I'm not going to explain it through and through. Dwarf Fortress has got sea levels, so think of if you could dig down on RimWorld for people who might know that game a wee bit better than this. So we are currently on level 141, which is the tiny little number you can see in the bottom right hand corner. And all the good stuff is down underground. We're dwarves, we dig, we mine, that's what we do. And we hit elves. So I'm just going to go down 10 levels straight away, and this is earmarking a 3x3 staircase. But to be honest, let's actually cancel those for now until they finish mining out everything else. But yeah, the last time I played this game, it was just after the sort of Tavern and Religions update, and I played about with it for a while. There's a couple of Let's Plays of Dwarf Fortress on my YouTube channel, and I really enjoyed it. It added just a nice new element to the game, but since then, the guys over at Bay 12 Games have been working their socks off as usual. Developing and updating the game, and we now have the ability to send people off on expeditions. No, expeditions. That's the one. We have the ability to do that now. Send off sort of like small invasion forces and various other items like that, so I get to play around with that, which should be fun. Let's build a, not animal trap, I want to build a chain. And I forget where it is. Restraint, that's the one. There we go. So we're going to build it here. Yep, it's usually just silk rope or something at the start. Build 2 of those. I'm also going to build a bridge. 3 by 3 will do fine. I wanted to raise that way and place that. We can use some of these logs that we initially got. And then I want to build a trade depot before I forget about it. We'll build it there, and again just grab whatever logs are nearby. One of the things I sort of dislike about the way I've played Dwarf Fortress in the past is that I settled on a style, and I think a lot of people play the game find that they, maybe the first time you have a very successful fortress and things just seem to work, you don't tend to deviate from that style, be it from workshop stockpile layouts to bedroom layouts to just general fort defense. And it's always annoyed me that I do that, because it just sometimes can, the randomness and the chaoticness that arrives out of Dwarf Fortress playthroughs is what makes the game as fantastic as it is. But you never sort of, even though random stuff happens every time, if your fort looks the exact same, is laid out the exact same, it sort of takes away from it. So I am now building farms in case people don't grasp what I'm doing here. So again, I'm just making them as wide and as tall as the plots I've allocated, using the U and K keys. And clearly, this is clearly the most obvious key binding in the world. You press P to build a farm. Some of the key bindings make sense, but there's so many that need to be done that a lot of them don't. Like, if you take a look in the right hand corner now, armor stand A. Makes sense. Bed B. Great. Seat C. Chair. You could work with that. But then some of them are just crazy. Bridge is G. Animal trap is M. I don't know. It's just, there's so much to build and do. Just display furniture. What's display furniture? It means display object. Oh, dirt road. Have I ever paved road? There's things in the game that I just don't remember ever being in it. Now, let's, and in terms of key bindings, for example, B for building, D for dig, but you press D for dig, you're going to get a shit ton of other options. So if by default it's online, you can do a whole pile of things, but the main one I'll be utilizing here is I, which is up downstairs, obviously. And remark that so that they go and dig. P for stockpile, because I want to store some stuff. So we place a stockpile, exit out, then we, is it Q? Yes it is. Change the settings, because in this one we want to disable that. Don't care about that. We want to enable food. We want to forbid everything but seeds, because this is the stockpile beside the farm. Makes sense. And these farms are nearly built. Yes, they are. So Q is the main thing you use to interact with anything you build. So first and foremost, we shall shift and enter for all seasons. So all season, all year long, we want to build in this farm or grow in this farm. Plump helmets. Plump helmets is the main thing we use to create alcohol, or, well, yeah, plump helmet wine. Anyway, you've got 2 whole farms dedicated to plump helmets. And then in this one, I just go season by season and choose some random things to grow. These things are various in nature. So in spring, we shall plant quarry bushes. In summer, we shall get some sweet pods. Pigtails are things used to for clothing and various bits and pieces. And then finally we shall grab some more plump helmets. You never have enough plump helmets. We shall set up a temporary wood stockpile here just to get it inside the fort, so that'll occupy all our dwarves. We have 0 idlers now. There's one thing I probably could explain a wee bit is what's going on the screen for anyone who's just never seen this game before. So down in the bottom right hand corner here, you see various different numbers and different colours. That's basically total number of dwarves, but on a scale of happiness. So red is bad, they're angry, they're probably murdering fellow dwarves, and green is happy, content, everything is right with the world. And we have 7 dwarves, 6 of them are super content, 1 of them is grand. The 141 here is the current Z level that we're at. Date, don't really have to pay much attention to that. Idlers, so the best fort is the one where everybody's doing something. There's no point having people standing around doing nothing. Everybody could be doing something at some point, be it chopping down trees, mining, crafting, planting shit, brewing alcohol, whatever it is, they could be doing something. That is the main thing. So the aim is to keep that number as low as possible. Now it's pretty easy at the minute, 7. Once we have, 123 dwarves in the fort, it gets a wee bit trickier, but don't worry, there's ways of doing it. I think that's basically it for now. If anybody does have any questions, keep them to yourselves, or use Google. So let's continue, and our dwarves are starting to dig down, and they'll expose quite a few different resources and different minerals. So for example, these walls here are chalk. Down below we have slate and still some sand, and this is probably a clay, clay loam. None of them are useful. Sand we can use in glass making and stuff like that, but again, not really useful. What we can do though is when we get some iron ore and various things like that, start making metal weapons, armor, and other lovely bits and pieces that help our fort become awesome. So as you can see, the snow's starting to melt. Start to get some green on the screen. And the thing is, this tile set and any of the tile sets actually are a way to try and make the game visually more accessible by visualizing, obviously, the different items that are in the game. But I love playing this game in its pure ASCII mode, and I'm definitely going to have to do like a pure ASCII run at some point, because it was the most recent Let's Play I did on YouTube was ASCII, and I never got to finish it, so I'm not irked at that. So we have more chalk, schist, and native platinum, so we can do some stuff with that. Okay, continue digging deeply and greedily. Is there an aim to the game? Yeah, it's not to lose, but you always lose, so eventually if you get to a point where your fort is like super strong and super awesome and really nothing can go wrong and you can fend off any siege, then you basically have to make your own fun, and at that point that's where you dig too far. There is a finite distance you can go down, and once you go down too far you come across something that is commonly known as the circus, and you can release the clowns, and it's a lot of fun. So that'll be the aim of this one. If we don't die to some random invasion or some stupid cock up because I forget how to play the game, then that's how we will go out. We will go out in a blaze of glory. Okay, now going to do the basic outline of my workshop / storage areas. This is one I always use. I sort of very rarely deviate, and it'll be interesting to hear if anyone else who's watching and who plays Dwarf Fortress, what their opinions are. So essentially the basic one contains the sort of the key, what I consider the key workshops. So you've got your carpenters, masons, mechanics, still, bowyer, something else and something else. So I like building the first one as early as possible in the higher up levels where there's a good chance of clay or some sort of soft material like sand or chalk, things that can be mined out relatively quickly so you can get set up as quickly as possible. As you can see, they're digging out this quite efficiently. We're still striking more and more materials. So, who do we have in our fort? We have Alath, Cyril, Labash, Nish, Avuz, Mistim, and Bim. Now, the great thing about this game is the amount of detail. So, I can't remember how to look at view unit. Thoughts. Here we go. Like, this is Labash, who's a miner. Everything is good apparently. Within the last season, she felt satisfied at work, satisfied upon improving mining. She felt euphoric due to inebriation. Don't we all? She was content after having a fine drink. She was annoyed after having a drink without using a goblet. Blah blah blah. She's a dubious worshipper of Naughton, citizen of the ceiling of secreting, which is our sort of parent. Blah blah blah. Mountain home, grand civilization. We're an exhibition. I'm not going to continue pronouncing that word. 80 years old, nose is broad, never sick and incredibly tough. She likes this, that, and the on. She has a great kinesthetic sense and great analytical abilities, but she has an iffy sense for music, meagre creativity, and shortage of patience. Don't we all? Poor empathy, same, poor memory, and a poor ability to manage or understand social relationships. And then it goes into their culture and what they hold as valuable, and there's just an entire person is created, and this is the same for all of them. So, you know, this guy is 52 years old. He likes, what is it? Cinnabar, black bronze, pink tourmaline, limewood wood, the colour olive, tables, horses for their strength, and the words of the tulips of venerating. I just love it. Where do I find the religions? I cannot remember. Doesn't really matter, to be fair. It doesn't really matter. So a thing I like to set up straight away. I should do it now, but I'm forgetting. Yes, capital H. Set up some hotkeys. Yeah, F1 to zoom here, and it can stay named as the gate. F2 can be this workshop level. Zoom here, name that as Works 1. And I think we're going to have our bedroom level. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 134. So F3, zoom here, name that Beds 1. Now we can plan out our initial set of bedrooms. Now, the shape and style of bedrooms is often debated among those who are fans of the Dwarf Fortress, and I go for efficiency over comfort. And as someone who has, through, I don't know, I'm going to say through being sort of feared, developed a knack of somehow managing to get my fortresses to die due to FPS death and not, you know, any other sort of more dwarven worthy deaths. Because I end up being FPS critical, I try to keep everything as condensed and vertical as possible to minimize pathfinding and various items like that. So hence why some people will get annoyed at the way I lay out stuff. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's one corridor of bedrooms, so that's 20 straight away. Oh, this will all make sense later. And I wasn't counting. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, whoops, 9, 10. I always compare this part of Dwarf Fortress to the early stages of Minecraft, in the sense that, you know, the fun part of this game, I think, is the early fort stuff. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I really should use macro, you know, recording stuff to do this, but I don't. No, that was the wrong key. I do compare it to the early sort of stages when you first set off in a new world of Minecraft. The fun part really truly is gathering the resources and, you know, carving out your little corner of the world that you're actually going to build and develop on. And then, see, once you've actually built everything, it's kind of boring. I mean, okay, you build yourself a nice swanky house or even a town or whatever. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the math isn't 100% correct, but hypothetically, there's what? Just short of 20 here, 20, 20, 20. So you're talking about 76 bedrooms here, which will see us for quite some time. But we don't want it all mined out straight away because it's in rock. It'll take forever to mine. So we just want this side carved out. And to be honest, we only want those bedrooms carved out, i.e. these ones here. So we'll get around to that in due course. Hopefully not before they finish up here. But they're starting to run out of the sand, or the... I think it's sand still, isn't it? Sand cavern floor. So it is going to start taking a wee bit of time. Now you're going to see random things being left behind here after mining. The grey blobs are rocks, which you can use to carve into goblets or big stone chairs, tables, etc. The little green and blue thing, they're gems, which can be cut into, you know, prettier stones used to adorn objects. It seems pretty self-explanatory to me. It's just that if you haven't either watched people play the game extensively before, or you haven't managed to delve into it yourself, it can be a bit hard to interpret when you really don't have the first idea what's going on. So, we need to build workshops and a still, which should be U. No, it's the butchers, it's L. There we go. So we're going to place our still here, because that's where I always place my still. I told you I have a pattern, and I already know that a mason is going to go here. Beside it, craft workshop, and then beside that we have the mechanics, which is T, obviously. So people come down, they'll build those out of the resources I designated them to be built out of, and everything will be fine and dandy. Now, before they get too far ahead, I'm going to dig these two little slots out, and I'm going to be placing chairs there, and we'll get to that whenever we get to it. But it'll help speed things up later on once we have a bookkeeper and manager on the go, and they can get their shit done. Again, a lot of people would at this stage have workshops, say, hypothetically built in this little storage area I built here, but I find that you don't really need to worry about it. But speaking about worrying, we are low on food and we have less than 50 drink. So that is something to be concerned about. But anyway, we're still up and going. Let's add new task, brew drink from plant. I want you to do that forever. Is it Alt W? Workflow? Yes, this is an extra plugin that helps set up, helps take away some of the micromanagement. So we're going to brew drink of any material. We currently have 52, and this workflow constraint says we should have 5 to 10 items at any time. That is nowhere near enough for dwarves. So we edit the range. So we want at this stage 150, 200, and that now means, you know, we have less than 150 drink. That job you need to start fucking brewing, is going to be marked as, you know, get done. And someone will start brewing. Hopefully. And there we go, someone's just brought down a plump helmet. And the sooner I get the stuff mined out, the better, because then I can... You know, nobody needs to sleep yet. We need workshops to dug out. That is the important thing. So we'll eventually house our chickens that are going around absolutely buck mental there. And actually what we could do is earmark this caravan to be deconstructed. And if you have noticed that I am not delving into the jobs screen too often, that is because I'm using auto assignment, because I am lazy. That's no, not a chair throne. I want a carpenters. I need to go to workshop, see, there we go. Carpenters. And I want a wood stockpile. It'll be too wide, it'll go the whole length. So we'll have to amend that in a bit. The sooner I get that stuff started, the better. No, it's not. It's P and X. Remove designation. Remove this wood stockpile so nobody takes anything to it anymore. And a bunch of free wood is marked as needing taken downstairs. What are my dwarves doing? Oh, they're all asleep. Lazy bastards. Lazy, lazy, lazy. And people just don't get the message that I'm streaming because they're messaging me. Go away. There we go. So I'm told. So someone's down creating the carpenter's workshop, which is vitally important because we'll set up, we want to make 2 wooden chairs and 7 wooden beds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and probably get a barrel. So we can actually repeat that, get a work limit on that one, make it of any wood. 5 to 10 for now is actually not terrible, and we can't add any more tasks until those ones are completed, which is fine. Those will get me it pretty quickly, and whilst there should be stockpiles placed for those, the workshops can hold quite a few items before, you know, their sort of storage is taken up, so to speak. But as you can see right now with Alfred here, you know what, because I've just called you Alfred, I am going to actually name you Alfred. So he's Alath. Customize a nickname. You are Alfred. So if anybody actually, if there's anybody watching, and you want a dwarf named after yourselves, please note that I am willing to do that, but also that you will probably die a horrific death at the hands of, I don't know, me accidentally drowning you, dropping you into magma, some weird were creature eating your face off, maybe you turning into a were creature and us having to murder you to stop you from infecting the entirety of the fort. Various lovely things like that. Oh, we have free space over here, so we get 2 food stockpiles. And we'll customize them now. Okay, change the settings of this one. So this one will actually take food, but not drink or seeds, and never have lie in it, because then you can't access it, or you couldn't access it the last time I was playing. And this one we ban everything but drink. Done. Simple as that. need to remember what's the rest of the words that I speak, language, etc. How is the stuff in here coming along? So we've got most of the beds done. That's okay. Mason's workshop. We will want to get a lot of these jobs done as quickly as possible, but doors are going to be the main one you make, mate. And 5 to 10 for now is good. And you'll also be responsible for... what did I... yeah, doors. Yeah, I do want rock doors. What else do I want? I probably want tables and thrones, to be honest. Okay, just work on the rock doors for now. And the craft workshop, this one will be dedicated to making goblets, because our economy runs on goblets. But for now, this one will work on making bolts. That's a back. That's a repeat job. Alt W. Bolts of any wood. Range, change that of 15 to 20. We need bolts to fire from our weapons. That's what I'm trying to say. And we're going to make some bone ones as well, because we will get bones from butchering animals, and we may as well put them to some sort of use. Speaking of, a butcher is something I should consider, and a refuge stockpile. Ugh! Knew there was going to be some things I forgot. So refuge stockpile, i.e. rubbish, can go there. And I suppose problem with the butcher is you get miasma from it. So do we might have a little dedicated building to it, but for now we're going to build workshop butchers, which is you. I'm just going to build it here. Whoops, don't want leatherworks just yet. So slowly but surely we're getting our first set of workshops on the go. And these are just what I count the critical ones, the sort of stuff that you need all the time. And you'll notice that I have a carpenter, mason, and a craft workshop here. They will be mirrored by a carpenter, a mason, and a craft workshop. So sort of split the load, and especially comes in handy when you have more dwarves, so you have 2 of each going on the go. And then I'll have like leatherworks and bowyer maybe. I think that's what I actually put down here. So if I go to build workshop, leatherworks, so I get some armor and bowyer. That'll do the job there. Those workshops don't be utilized too often, or not as heavily as the rest that I've got on the go, but they do be used. Do we have those chairs available? We do. They're just crappy wooden chairs, but they'll do the job. Place them there. Somebody will come along when they're free and have nothing to do and build workshop masons, so we can fill this slot, and also craft. Pardon me. Just finished digging out the goddamn corner. You can leave that little bit of a gap. It's fine. Honestly, I don't mind. And of course, he goes off to do something else. So we do have 1 chair down, which brings us to our... Oh, Alfred's our expedition leader. Don't need him at the moment, so we need a manager. Who's the most... nobody is. So Alfred's going to be the manager who manages things. Think about it. We need a bookkeeper. Do we need a bookkeeper? Yeah, we do. We want to... Is it bookkeeper? Settings, that's what I'm looking for. I want the highest precision. And I'll explain why that's important in a second. And we need a broker, which is the person that goes out to the trade depot and deals with you know, outsiders and getting us the best deal possible. And you can see the red require, which means they require something in order to do their job, and they need a meager office. And you want to know what you need for a meager office, folks? You need a chair. And you designate the office as a 1x1 on top of the chair, assign it to our manager, which is also our expedition leader, Alfred. And now if we go back in here, look, the red is gone from the manager and broker. Great. And once the second chair is down, we'll assign that to the bookkeeper, and those two guys will be happy. Can't always get away with that. Basically, that's the only thing you can get away with in terms of signing a 1x1. Later on we'll have barons, queens, dukes, mayors, and they'll all require grand offices, bedrooms, dining rooms, all this crazy nonsense. And if things go completely batshit insane elsewhere in the world that we've generated, the queen of our whole mountain home colony civilization could be appointed here, and then we have to have a throne room and all that lovely stuff. So another 1x1 room, assign it, and this time it'll go to our bookkeeper. Just to make sure everything's done. There we go. Now we have to rename Cyril here. So we do. I just need to think of a name. But you want to know what would be great? If he's finished digging out the goddamn shit that I've told you to dig out. Do it already. The reason we want decent bookkeeper is beforehand, all these numbers, like the amount of seeds, drink, meat, blah blah blah, we're all like estimates. They had a question mark beside them, and it could be above or below, or etc. It was just an estimate. But with high precision bookkeeping, you know exactly what your fort has, and that just enables you to keep on top of where you're standing and what stuff you need to address. Hey. It's always an issue I face in the early game. I expand really quickly, and with the automatic job assignment, you can find that there'd be sometimes a gap in what is and isn't getting done, and that can result in just a few frustrating things. Okay, that's nearly complete. One more square. Done. Right, build, workshop, carpenter. And now we can get working on the remainder of our stockpile. So we need to finish off the wood one, which is fine. So now we need furniture. Furniture can occupy that. Now we need stone, and I shall go into the settings of it, because we don't want all stone here. Metal ores, forbid. Economic, no. We need other stone. Other stone's only stuff that may be carved into like tables and shit like that. I think, yeah. Economic is stuff like, well, as you can see, Bitmut's coal, lignite and stuff. That's stuff you can burn. It would be fantastic if we could find some of that, but I don't think we do. And metal should be pretty self-explanatory. So we only want stuff that we can use in our masons and craft shops up here. And the reason we have them here is so that they're close to the workshops. And we want to assign a wheelbarrow. I'm going to give you a max wheelbarrow of 4. And on that note, we will want some wheelbarrows. So in here, where is wheelbarrow? Okay, it's near the bottom. Wheelbarrow. Can I output plus capitals? Wheelbarrow. Let's make 5. Because we can. Resume. Actually, no, don't resume. We need to finish putting down our stuff. So we want animal stockpiles to get token ones on the go. What I usually do is this. This is for caged animals and things like that. It'll all make sense in a way. Other big ones are. Let's get a leather one. Leather can go there. Ammo can go there. Sheets. Don't really care. Weapons. Armor. This is just so that we can get most of the stuff away from outside. Not a lot of this will be filled up straight away, But I like having just tiny little stockpiles on this first floor, just for a bit of everything. And eventually we will end up digging out bigger stockpiles dedicated to particular items. We haven't got any coins yet. This one can be small as well. Bars and blocks. Gems. Cloth. And I think that's all for the loose ones. The last major one we need is finished goods, and it's going to take up all of the remaining gap. Done and done. Resume. And we'll start divvying out jobs to these various workshops shortly, once the carpenter is built and I know exactly what we have in store. We're getting warnings that the brewer can't brew because there's no plants that can be brewed from, but for now we're actually okay on drink, so not too bad. It is nice summer, folks, so we have a bit of an autosave, which is always a sweaty bum time moment in Dwarf Fortress. You don't know if you're ever going to come back from a save. Sometimes it needs a little bit of a coaxing from time to time. Come on. Don't crash. Do not crash. Then I'm always feared to press anything in case it does crash. Then sometimes pressing something makes it realise, oh shit, I finished saving. That's not a good sign, is it? That's not good. There we go. Whew. Heart is always in mouth during that. Always. Right, everything is built. We can now start mass assigning orders. Mechanics workshop. I need you to make mechanisms. Mechanisms are needed for levers and traps and all those lovely things. We have a bridge guarding the entrance to our fort that needs hooked up to a lever so we can close said bridge when bad people attack. So we want to always have make of any rock. 5 to 10 will do the job nicely. And you will also make a traction bench. Repeat that. We'll need those for in the hospital and stuff like that. And believe you me, we're going to need a hospital. You don't need 5 to 10. That's just crazy. Shift or 2 to 4. Now, what else do we have here? We have a bowyer's workshop. Make crossbow. Make bow and crossbow. Yes. Try to get 5 to 10. And same for wooden crossbow. Repeat that. 5 to 10. Now, I'm assigning those workflow orders on the individual ones here. So if I set up, you know the way I've said 5 to 10 wooden crossbows. If I set up another bowyer's workshop and set up a repeating wooden crossbow job, that order carries over. So both workshops contribute to ensuring there's between 5 to 10, if that makes sense. Leatherworks, you shall always make leather armor, and we shall try to keep any leather 5 to 10 about. You are going to make me some rock mugs, buddy, and you just repeat. I'm not even going to put a constraint on you. That is your job, that is your life, get used to it. So you need a throne. Throne is a chair, essentially. 5 to 10 for now is more than enough. And we will need what's the other one? Table. I make rock everything. So it's 5 to 10 of them. So you've got the doors, and you're also going to get the coffers. 5 to 10. You're also going to get statues. That can be any rock, but just keep 2 to 4. we're going to add another job to you, which will be slabs, because somebody's going to die and I'm not going to be able to find their body, and I'm going to have to make a memorial to them before they start haunting the fort. Yes, everything I just said there is a thing. But we only need 1 to 2. And anything else rock-wise we really need out of the bat? I suppose if you get through all that and you get the blocks, and keep 5 to 10 blocks about. Come in handy for something. Now what are we making up here automatically? We've got barrels being made all the time. So this one means you get the bin job, which is an N, because I remember that one. Any wood, 5 to 10 bins, perfect. What else do we want though? Barrels and bins are being made. We're going to need bed. 5 to 10. About anything else we want? We probably want cabinet. Yeah, 5 to 10. So that's 3 up there. So we need another couple of jobs up here. Wooden cage. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. 5 to 10. It's not the most high priority job right now, but I saw it and I was like, you know what, we're going to need it. And you know what, you can help out with the beds. That'll do for now. Whew. Feels good. The butcher has been created, so add new task. Now we're going to automate that whenever the time is right, and I think if we go into Z, animals, you can see all the animals that are about. We have a shit ton of dogs, cats, hens, ducks, turkeys, you name it, we have it. It is important that, probably not the best idea, I can't remember if it's you can't or you shouldn't butcher somebody's pet. So like a dwarf in the fortress can take a dog on as a pet, and if the dog dies in an attack or something, they're emotionally traumatized because they've lost their dog. Cats on the other hand adopt dwarves. So it's kind of an interesting turnaround. But yeah, what we want to do is, so we can mark individual animals here to be slaughtered and all that kind of stuff, but is it B? No, where is the hold on, need to, you know what, you can mine these out as well, mate, because we're going to get our first migration wave. I don't think we're going to have anything too crazy in terms of numbers. The craziest initial migration wave I ever got was an additional 23 dwarves on top of my original 7. I've heard crazy numbers even higher than that, but normally it'll probably be about between 2 and 5, something along those lines. I'm trying to find the auto butcher. Where would I do that? It's not unit list, is it? It might be. Pets and livestock. No. Is it OB? I am forgetting. In terms of what else is around us in the world, we are in Untamed Wilds as a terrain type. Temperate forest, I think. And the only other wild animals about here at the moment are giant chinchillas. So yeah. So it's definitely not in there. So is it not here? What's the additional options? Bedrooms. We don't have any bedrooms. So animals. I am extremely forgetting. Not just forgetting, I'm extremely forgetting where I find the butcher stuff. It'll come back to me. It'll take a while. So is that hasn't even started flashing yet, so nobody's down to mine it. Everybody's busy with their jobs, doing what dwarves do. Definitely actually need to ensure we have a lot more bins, but we're probably not going to be able to get much out of our initial trade caravan simply because we've spent a bit of time getting things set up, and as a result just we won't have enough produced, so it'll be a bit of a token first trade. Aye, hello, we've nothing to give you, bye bye, something along those lines. I was just checking the sides of the mountains there to see if we had any economic stones, sort of like, what is the stone that you can burn, use as fuel. We are going to earmark this section to be our first slightly bigger workshop area, but it'll consist primarily of mining. Not mining. Everything's mining. It'll consist primarily of like metal forges and all that lovely stuff. And basically, actually, the left-hand side of this will be used to... I don't know why I'm doing that. It's the same number of workshops, but it's just more storage area. The left-hand side of this level will be dedicated to forges, metalsmiths, and stuff like that. The rest of it will be dedicated to all the other workshops, at least getting one of them down, for one very, very important reason. Your dwarves, as some of you may know, can enter what is called a sort of like possessed state, where they go a bit crazy. They take over a workshop. It could be anything from a carpenter's to a jeweler's to you name it, and they create an artifact. And if they don't have the workshop, they can throw a tantrum. Tantrums can spiral and your entire fortress can die. Which you'd never want to happen. I didn't actually want to dig this one out yet, so let's undesignate that. I just wanted it as a template. And speaking of, let's actually F4, zoom here, name works 2. Zoom. Still haven't done anything there. What's everybody doing? Crossbow, stockpile records, no job, mug, cage, rock statue. See, I did assign too many jobs. Now nobody's doing the more basic stuff. And it's always this point then where I start getting, not nervous, but itching for my first immigrant wave. So we just have that, as I said, between 2 to 5 extra hands going about, and things start to get done again. I don't need any other nobles at this point. In terms of security, I am thinking at some point we'll create a secondary entrance, or secondary room here. We'll replace these walls with fortifications, which is i.e. walls that you can shoot arrows through. So if anything can breach our outer defences, we'll have marksmen lined up here, and they'll be able to fire out, along with maybe having a crossbow or something down at the far end so we could shoot down the corridor. And yeah, but usually if people get in, I'm screwed. So at that point, it's game over for me. So definitely need to get to work on the bedrooms here. There we go. Finally starting to get done. What are we exposing here? So you have schist, Morion, Galena. Is Galena something you can use? Has Galena got metals in it? I can't remember. I know tetrahedrite is like one of my favourites to find, other than pure solid silver and gold veins. If I ever strike like a gold vein in the early levels, guaranteed gold goblets being made the entire rest of the game. Because they bring in fuck tons of monies. And money is important. For example, our created wealth is 3,967 dwarf bucks, which isn't a lot. Things like trading lots of value, things being created in your fort that are worth a lot, artifacts being created that are worth a lot, all add to your total fortress wealth. And the wealthier you are, the more people that want to come. That's essentially as simple as it gets. Because people like nice shiny things. I should start assigning beds. Build bed. Let's go into planning mode so I don't have to do anything too tediously. Right. So people should come down shortly and place some beds here. Then we'll be able to put in some doors and be able to mark them as bedrooms, and then the doors will have bedrooms. Moving up in the world, folks. Moving up in the world. Oh, what do we have? What happened? What's the announcements? Some migrants have arrived. Zoom to location. So they are coming in from up yonder here. Top right. So this little flash guy. So now we'll see how many we got. So there's 1, 2. They have nowhere to meet, so they're going to wander about for a bit. Don't tell me I have more than 2, please. Really? 2 dwarves. What is going around eating shit? That is extremely disappointing. Oh, 3. 4. I'm liking this now. 5. Am I going to be right on the money with my 2 to 5? I.e. at one point I was panicking I only had 2 and then end up with 5. Oh, 6? Oh, shit, 7. So we've already doubled the number of people in our fort at this stage. I'm just watching the number in the bottom right hand corner. There's quite a few. Okay, 7, that's not a bad one. Shit is happening on the screen. There's little exclamation marks and things darting about all over the place. Something is fighting something, and it's got to do with this freak here. What are you? You're a giant chinchilla. You're pissing off my dogs. And that's what see the red splotches here? This is blood. And now, is it dog blood or chinchilla blood? That is the important thing here. Splattering of giant chinchilla blood. Good. Now, thing to note is that we just got some migrants in. Migrants bring with them supplies, including fucking children, which are just annoying because they don't contribute. They can't work. Epic in battles. Nearly undefeatable. But other than that, just useless and annoying. But they also bring animals, and we got an extra water buffalo. So we have to, and it's an animal that grazes, so we assign them to the pasture. It's as simple as that gets. So let's go back to the bedrooms. None has been made just yet. It's important that we sort of consider maybe earmarking a dining hall meeting area kind of job, but you know what, we'll wait till the bedrooms are done. If they ever get done. So yeah, total of 14 dwarves. Drink is at 132, plant 29, seed 6, meat 0. So we are running a bit low on food. I'm going to do a very not anti-dwarven thing. I'm going to gather plants. Something that an elf would do. I know, it's crazy, but it has to be done. And in an early game stage, it's actually not a bad thing to do. You usually have a few idlers sitting about. So go out, get a few extra seeds. You might get a few bits of fruit as well, which just keep things ticking over. You don't have to freak out and worry about stuff. But it will be important to get hunting on the go and butchering of animals, if I can ever remember how to do that. Huh. Once again, at any point, if anybody's watching and wants a dwarf named after themselves, just shout and I'll make it so. It's not in here, is it? Ah, I keep hitting cap locks. No, it's definitely not. Where the hell do I do this again? Huh. I'll probably take a wee look at the wiki during the break so I can try and remember what it is I need to do in order to set up the auto butcher stuff. Hey, auto butcher just means that you can set the max number of females of a particular animal that you will allow in your fort. Same for males, same for adult versions of each and baby versions of each. And once something is born or comes into the fort that takes that number above, it's marked for butchering, and somebody will automatically come along, take it to the butchers and butcher it. Simple as. Needs chain. We need to make some chains for our traction bench, but there's no point touching chains just yet. Why are you hand carrying that stone, you dickhead? So you can see some beds are being placed, but I definitely need them to mine out the rest of the rooms. We have like one idler. How is that even possible? Like, what is everybody doing? Construct, construct, store, make, construct, make, gather, store, make, store, construct, store, gather. Okay, fair enough. And again, if you can hear the music in the background and it's at a decent enough level in comparison to my voice, just let me know, because I'm not too sure what the volume's like. It's loud enough in my headset, but that doesn't necessarily translate well over to actual stream. Finally, someone's back down mining. And all those beds are done, so let's build door. Once again, enter planning mode, so I can just sort of very quickly start clicking. And you'd think that was it for bedrooms, folks, but no, we have to actually make them rooms. So we have to hover over, make bedroom. It smartly auto sizes to encapsulate a room that it can sort of see. So you just end up usually pressing enter, and then it's very quick one after that fact. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 bedrooms assigned. That's 9 dwarves going to be happily bedded. We don't have to assign dwarves to the bedrooms. They will, if there's a bed free or a bedroom that's unassigned, whenever a dwarf decides to go to sleep, they'll claim it. Some people like to go down the whole barracks route, start, i.e. create a big room, stick in 20 beds and assign it as a barracks, which means nobody actually claims a bed. Doesn't belong to them. If it's free when they're tired, they'll sleep in it, but once they get up, someone else could sleep in it as well. And what sounds good? Fiddles now. I've said a lot of shit. Finish the bedrooms before you go away. There's like just a minuscule number of bedrooms left to finish. Okay. See the bottom right hand corner? Do it as well. There we go, John. Let's see. You just wait until you name one of them, and away you go. Let's view this unit. Let's customize. Let's customize nickname. You are John. Fantastic original names here. John and Alfred. Boom. Right, bed. Let's build some more beds. We are still in planning mode, so we should be able to just... The other thing about planning mode... Oh, the sound, background music, good levels. Cheers, thanks for letting me know. The thing about placing any buildings in Dwarf Fortress is normally without the little add-ons, quality of life stuff such as planning mode and workflow and all these other things that I've been utilising, is that it can become very micromanaging. So you wouldn't be able to build a bed unless you had a bed in a stockpile. And then you'd have to place one bed, go out, select bed again and place it in the next room. Planning mode just goes, you know what, we're just going to mark this area for a bed. When a bed's available, somebody will come down and place it. It just makes life a hell of a lot easier. So, that's those beds marked for placing. Once they're placed, we will build some doors. I don't place the doors yet because, again, a little quirk of the game that you sort of get the hang of after a while is, say hypothetically, let's pause 1 second before I go on my break. Hypothetically, I had a door to be built here as well. So Dwarf A has the bed, Dwarf B has the door. And they're both approaching this room at the same time. And then Dwarf B starts building the door, and Dwarf A with the bed can't get inside. He'll just drop the bed and go off do something else. And then it's just sitting there like job suspended. So in order to get around that, sort of just build things in stages. But it is 9:10. I am going to take a short break, folks. So I shall be back in roughly 5 to 10 minutes, give or take. So yeah, back in a second.